Hey, it's a good day to say hello. I want to say thank you so much for being here, and I'm just going to go ahead and open up my computer at the moment. The question for today, what I'm looking into, is a question about what is a charge off, and pretty much what are some of your thoughts about what a charge off is. Of late, we've been a collector, and I'm going to tell you some details about what happened without telling the debt collector's name. But pretty much this has been a case that we've been fighting for a number of years now, and pretty much we've gone through a couple of courses about how to deal with debt collectors with zombie debts, as well as things that are in the past that beyond the statute of limitations. Not saying that that's the case here, but all these things I want to go ahead and just kind of explain about things that we're going through regarding this. So I just want to say a couple of things, and I want to say sorry for everything that happened with. I feel sadness for what happened with the kids in Tennessee, and the families in Tennessee. I just pray my prayer goes out for all of them in the situation that happened there. I have my thoughts on what they should do. I actually put a short of what everyone should do from going forward, but pretty much on the government has to get out of the way of the citizens, and that people need to protect themselves. And that's all I'm going to say on that matter for that. But what I'm going to talk to you today about is regarding the thing about what is a charge off, and a charge off, and what is written off debt. And so here's my pen malfunctioning, so I'll just use it without the spring-loaded action. Okay, that's a charge off. And so pretty much, and what's written off debt. Now, I'm going to look it up online, but I want to know what your thoughts are on this situation. So I'm going to go ahead and look online and see what it means. I'm going to read you things. I'm going to talk to you about details of my case. What is written? What does it mean? It means when a debt is written off. Now, the reason why I say this is because there's been times where you look into your credit or you look into things and you see that the debt has been written off. So that debt is no longer alive. It's not dead. Now, when it says, let's see, I'm looking for like documents. Why do banks write off bad debts? Okay, a write off versus a write down. Debts are written off. They are removed as assets from the balance sheet because the company does not expect to recover payment. In contrast, when Experian itself. So this is Experian website, and it says charge off, defining charge off, written off, and transferred. Okay, so with the Experian team, charge off. This is July 18, 2006. 2-minute read. It goes, what's the definition of charge off, written off, and or transferred? Let's see the CPL. Right, your question touches three important terms to understand the context of a credit report. They are fairly self-explanatory. Charge off and written off means the same thing. A charge off or written off debt is a debt that has become seriously delinquent and the lender has given up on being paid. From an accounting standpoint, that means they remove the anticipated income from their accounts receivables, ledgers, and documented the loss as charged off to bad debts or written off to bad debts at that point. The original account entry will show that it is charged off or written off. In credit report industry terms, charged off and written off are considered final status indicators of the account, meaning the account is no longer an active entry on your credit report. Example of other financial status indicators include paid and closed. Those terms indicate a loan was paid in full or an account is no longer open or available to make purchases. A charge-off account usually indicates it has been transferred, um, often with a statement that says transferred to and lists the name of the new debt owner. The fact that it is a charge-off account means it would be scored negatively. Your credit report will typically include a new account entry, most likely from a collection agency, for that debt. That entry will generally have a statement showing transferred from or original creditor and listing the name of the original debt owner. The entry shown transferred from is now the active account entry in your credit report. However, the term transferred is neutral. It can also be associated with a positive history when the lender sold and transferred the account to a new company. There would be no negative impact for the transfer. Scores would simply reflect if all payments were made as agreed before and after the transfer. indicating who an account is transferred from and transferred to helps you more easily track the history of the debt from the original lender through the subsequent owner of the debt. Thanks for help. That's from Experian. That doesn't say defining charge-off, written off, and transferred. Now we're going to open another window. Let's duplicate this tab, shall we? And what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and check. And see, I don't have it on the screen because, I'm using it live right now. So if I was to put it on the screen, it would be like I'd have to do a, what do you call that thing? The thing where you split the screen on my OBS, but I'm not using OBS right now. I'm just pretty much going to talk you through stuff. So, okay, what I write? What does written off debt mean to the debtor? Hello, how are you doing? To the debtor. What does it mean to the debtor? Let's see, do you have to pay? Do you have to pay? The reason I'm here, I'm asking questions to everyone about what does it mean to have a debt written off. So feel free to in the chat to write about what your thoughts are about written off debt, charged off debt, and all that. And feel free to write. I'm writing on the computer as to I'm asking the computer what it means, but I wanted to know what your thought is. What are you playing? I'm not playing anything. There's no music. No music today. It's yeah, just a question. Yeah, I have no music on right now. Just the fridge, I guess. But alright, so debt collection facts. A debt collector has given you a validation information about the debt, either during the collector's first phone call. This is the consumer FTC and government. Okay. Oh, okay. So what is mean? Oh, okay. Just yeah. So the fridge noise went off. So you have make sure my sound is off here. It's popping up with loud music. Okay, here it goes. If is a debt collector calling, what can you do? What are your rights? The Fair Debt Collection Practices Act make it illegal for debt collectors to use abusive, unfair, or deceptive practices when they collect debts. Here are some answers to frequently asked questions about your rights. Is that the question I'm looking for? The question I'm looking for is what is all right. The reason I'm telling a story, so since I want to tell you what's going on. I had a debt collector situation happen. I'm not going to tell you the name of the debt collector, but pretty much we've been fighting for 5 years. I learned, a couple friends of mine have taught me about how to get proof of, call it validation verification, and that proof that this debt belongs to you. So you have to be able to, somebody comes along and says to you, hey, use my paints. For example, you owe money to this person here, and what happens is that this person here says that they're waiting for the money to come in. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. The person, your person's your friend. What happens? You owe him $5. The person says, okay, you owe me $5. Pay me $5. So he says, okay, I'll pay you $5. What happens is it doesn't pay you the $5, and then so eventually your friendship is like dead. But what happens is the person says, okay, forget that. I'm gonna go and talk to a new person now, and so this new person is this new person now says, what, I need the guy didn't pay me the debt over here, so what can happen is here, I'm gonna take a debt from you and I'm gonna collect for you. So he says, hey, I am the person here, you owe $5 to the other guy. I said, well, that's great. The person said, that's great, but now what happens is I have no relationship with you. I don't know who you are. Yeah, I don't know because you're friends with this guy, you're friends with this person here. So, but I don't know. You have a relationship there. I have no relationship with you. I have only a relationship with that person. So if anything, I should pay this person back $5, right? But what happens in this situation? This is the debt collector coming to talk to you, to say that you owe on that person's behalf. So what happens is that they say that this is the situation. So what happened in our situation was I just wanted to ask you for advice because what's happening is it's a long drawn out story, but it goes. I asked him to prove the relationship between me and the person, because they're coming and saying that this is what's due. It's been many years, and so I asked them for a validation. They sent me documents, and the documents, and so what happens is that the documents are saying that there's a that they didn't say that this person here is connected to this person here, right? All they're saying is that this person here owes a debt to this person here, and they come in as the enforcer, but they fail to prove their relationship between the two. Says, I want to see the contract you have between this person and that person. Now, according to the laws, what I've learned is that they don't need to show the details. You see, that's the validation date. You can just say that your name is on the paper, that the debt is yours, as long as if you dispute the debt and say this is not my debt or this is not my right information or something, they can actually fight against or have the case looked at again. So when it gets to a court situation, you have a thing called a summons and complaint, and so you have to answer a summons and complaint when you get one, because if you don't, then they'll get a default judgment on you and they'll come to your account and just take whatever they want, and because they say you didn't show up, all that. So they put the first offense. So the first person put the offense and said, "This is this." My defense says, "Well, show me your connection to the company. Show me the connection to this person here, right?" And so what happens is, like, when you have a situation, they're saying that they are representative of this person here, and so you're saying, "Well, if that is so, show me your connection," and they fail to show you the connection. You see, for all you know, this person could be from some other person come along and saying this is the thing. So another person come along and they say, well, I'm connected to the first person. Just reading information. I mean, there's fraud in the whole world, right? So the bottom line is that when you have a situation, it's like you have this thing called a debt. A debt's now considered charged off. So let me read something to you. It says, how are debt collectors allowed to contact me? Debt collectors can call you, contact you, private message on social message media, or send letters, emails, or texts to collect a debt. What does a debt collector have to tell about the debt? A collector has to give you a validation information about the debt, either when they first communicate with you or within 5 days of the first contact. The collector has to indicate the following: their name and mailing address, their name of the creditor you owe to, how much money you owe written out to include interest, fees, payments, and credit. What do you do if you don't think it's your debt? Your debt collection rights include your rights to get information about the original creditor if you ask for it within 30 days, to get validation information from the collector. How do I stop a collector from contacting me? Well, there's several ways you can do that, but one thing we had done was that we continue to have conversations with them. We continue to have ongoing input with them, and what it was that back and forth the letter, not with everything you have to do is in writing. Everything you don't talk to them, you write to them, because everything has to be submitted to the court. Everything has to be given to and presented to the court. So we made many trips to the court. So the first time I had a situation where I had a debt that was due, and what happened was that when I didn't pay attention to the summons and complaint, and it ended up being a judgment against me, and they went in and started like taking money out of our account, and they were like, "What is going on?" And then so we had to go in and said, "This is the situation," and they were able to work out a deal. And then so after that, see, when you submit to a debt collector, three things happen to you. One, you lose, right? It goes on your credit report that you lost. Number two, the second thing is that you have you it goes on your credit card. Second, you have to pay money, and the third thing is that you had to pay taxes. So you pay taxes on the debt, your credit report gets damaged, and you pretty much you lose money. So you lose money two times. Now, no, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, and this is not law advice. But what I found has happened is that when you have a situation or scenario where you pretty much owe a debt, or you don't pay a debt, or you get a debt forgiven, what happens is that the company, they have given you a thing called a charge off, right? The original company that has a connection with you, they can actually have a thing where they can give you a 1099-C, and that's called cancellation of debt. And what that does is that on your tax paper, they consider that income. And 1099-C, they consider that income, and you end up owing the tax on the money. Because, for example, if you get like, let's say $1,000 or something like that, what they're going to do, they're going to write it off, they're going to charge it off, and then from there, you have to pay tax on the $1,000, and then give you a letter 1099-C, and you give that to your tax preparer when you go to do taxes next year, right? So that's something that happens, and that's usually when the debt is completely like gone, because now you have a record with the IRS that it's gone. The situation is like when you are facing what happened in my situation of recent was we had volley one, they volleyed at me, and then so I volleyed back to them with an answer, because they come at you with a summons and complaint, you volley back with an answer to that complaint, and you have your counterclaim. Now, the greatest weapon you can have is a counterclaim. Counterclaim is to say why this doesn't, how you did they have to prove, and so that gets the ball rolling, because the counterclaim, in many occasions, what has happened is that it causes a fight, some kind of a fight for them to have to make sense. and have to make sense, and they have to kind of look into your stuff. Then, so when you ask them for a validation of the letter, you have about 30 days. So when the time they give you the letter to the time, 20 to 30 days, go for 20. Say, think it's 20. So what happens here in New York? You give you the letter, summons a complaint. You have to answer that as soon as you can. Go to court and write your 20 days to answer that. Because if you don't, they'll get a default judgment against you that this information was sent to you. And it's kind of what the whole aspect of fighting against this. What the whole point is that they have to prove that this is your debt. They have to say that this is yours, because there are things called fraud and people who are fraudulent, and people just sit and wait. And see, sometimes what happens is like the company that you allegedly owe money to. What happens is that they write off the money. Now, this is the question. This is the question that I have. Okay. I'll take in a second. So what happens is like you have the scenario where you are faced with, oh goodness, let me train thought. Okay, so yes, so, and then they present to you a okay, I was what was I saying before? You guys remember what I was saying before? Okay, I was saying something along the lines of, okay, you have to volley back and forth. Okay, so if you don't volley back and forth, they will get you on default. And if you miss one, of these things, what they'll do is that they will come after you. So we have been fighting and been able to hold our own for 5 years, just asking questions for discovery. And so when you get discovery, they have to be able to present details as to what's going on with regards to your policies and with regards to this. So if they're the actual creditor, then you have to one. If they're a debt collector that says they're on behalf of the creditor, you have to challenge that. And if you challenge that, that's where you get a chance to look into and see whether or not that this is legit debt, legitly or debt. And the thing is, you never admit to anything until you know for sure. Because if the moment you say that this is mine, then you are liable, even though it's not in writing. But the thing is, like, so we had decided to we went through many occasions where we and to present and keep presenting and present information. I presented my facts and details and the inconsistencies and the discrepancies of what's happened. That this person says they are this, but they have that. This person, they went into our credit report and they left a footprint on the credit report. That's my counterclaim that says, they went in on several occasions into my credit report without my permission, which is a violation of the FCPA rules that says that, you're not allowed to go into another person's, credit report without permission. Now, that's a question I wanted to present to you. I'm going to go ahead and end the video shortly because I'm going to call back the person who just called me real quick. But for the most part, I just wanted to get your opinion on the situation. Thank you so much for listening to this. It's kind of one of those things where I won't tell you more details about it, but I'll make another video and tell you more details about the situation. But what does the charge-off mean to you? So that's something there. Please, in the comments, write down what you think it means. Any advice is helpful. I'm in an active case right now dealing with the active situation. I didn't bring the charge-off situation because to say charge-off means that the debt has to be mine. Yeah, but I do. I've only kept it in the line of they went into my credit report without permission. That has been my fight. And so for 5 years, I've been able to fight that. Anyway, I just want to say thank you so much. Next video, I'm going to share more about the court case without telling the name of the person. If any advice would be great, that'd be great. All right, so I'm going to say thank you, and God bless you. And please leave me a comment. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And thank you again. Have a good day.